post to Mr. Charles here. Kuna watu wananunua apartments siku hizi. Niongee na hiyo lugha ndio kila mtu aelewe. In case you're in diaspora too, you will understand. Nataka kununua apartment na what nafaa kufanya due diligence gani nikinunua apartment? Do apartments have titles? I think it's changing because kitambo ilikuwa sasa from my understanding ilikuwa tu title moja. I think it's now changing. And maybe how Reza is stepping in place kufanya hii mambo ikuwe na like fair to the buyer and the
okay. Thank you so much for that question. Very many Kenyans actually have been looking for this information and trying to catch up with what is developing in the real estate sector, especially when it comes to housing and matters of buying, apartments. Because initially, people knew that when I buy an apartment, it was quite insecure because the ownership of that land where the building lies remains with the owner of land or with the developer. But the developments currently, because there was an outcry in terms of what was happening, is that Sectional Properties Act came into effect in 2020. The Sectional Properties Act. Yeah, so the Sectional Properties Act. So these are regulations that were made so that they can stipulate how people can own different apartments in one building. Exactly. In simple terms, these are regulations to regulate people who are selling properties in form of houses, and of course now stipulating how that whole development can be managed for the purpose that it was intended. Yes. So what does that mean? When you buy an apartment which is part of the main building, so that means you are managing. So the regulations talk about how you are supposed to manage the common areas. The regulations are very clear in terms of how the ownership and security in terms of title is supposed to be done. So kitambo haungepata title ukinunua nyumba ikiwa kwa apartment, but sahi you will be getting titles for the apartments. That is a very good move, especially now for investors, because that means that someone now can still buy an apartment and own and borrow a loan with it and feel secure that they own it. Yes, so it also talks about how they will be managed. Nakumbuka one time kuna mtu aliuliza, sasa hizo nyumba mtu akinunua nyumba zinajengwa, mtu mwenye ako juu yangu akifikiria kubomoa yake ama mwenye ako chini mtu wa ground floor akiamua kubadilisha mawazo, where shall we be? So that is something that can never happen because it is now regulated. So that is how sectional properties work, and the process is normally very simple. Like someone was asking, how are these titles done? Because now this sounds like something new, and it's very exactly, and it's very simple because you have the mother title that of course owns, or rather that holds the building. So the surveyor does a sectional plan for the whole building and maps out the small apartments, and then that plan is endorsed, of course, by the county and the surveyors. Then it goes now to the Survey of Kenya for authentication, and then from there, the Ministry of Lands, they're able now to register the sectional plans, and the individual units are given titles. So that's now how someone is able to get a title. And of course, that process is very clear from the point of making a purchase. You're supposed to get an agreement that stipulates that you'll get a title.